to do it yourself.
Well, we've had some good people work with us, and here we are live. We're out there now. So here, let's run this real quick. Boom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. It mutes us for a second while that goes on, but
so Drew Lynch, welcome to the Aaron Austin
so
show.
Much.
Yeah, he banged that. He banged that out pretty quick. Hey, we'll thank you. We'll thank you first. You're the one who's been doing media all day, and you still got a few more in you. We appreciate you coming on the Aaron Austin show. So,
dude, if I had to do media all day in order for me to see that intro, it was so worth it. We can end the show now. I could die happy, man. That was the best.
We'll have to play it again then when we.
Yeah, we'll play it on the outs. It's very Saturday morning cartoon. So.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's the vibe I love about it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He came in with it. I challenged him to it. Him and actually one of our first engineers. Shout out to John. They put it together in like what, a day?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, they put it together in a day.
So is this what days off for you look like? You have to do a bunch of media. You still at work?
Pretty much. I mean, it's like, I can't remember what the quote is, but it's like, when you're working, like when you have a job, you can't wait to get off. And then when you have a career, like when you have a job, there's all the time. And then when you have a career, there's no time. That's kind of what it is. It's just like, if you make your own hours and stuff, you're never going to really be kind to yourself when it comes to schedule. So it's just a grind all the time.
That's what it seems like. Like you're always right up against the wall with everything. I know how that goes. That's how we always are.
So you're on the East Coast right now, huh?
I'm on the West Coast right now.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Yeah, I'm on the West Coast. I'm in LA, soaking up all the sunshine and avocado toast I can. So,
nice.
That's yeah. So, but I've been to the Midwest. I mean, I'm from Indianapolis, and so I've been to, like, every time I get to go do shows in the Midwest, they're always like so much fun just because people drink and tell you how they feel, and you're like, all right, I know how it sits with you.
Yeah, it's usually pretty blunt in this area of this country, that's for sure.
Sometimes overshare, probably.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I like to know where I'm at when you deal with them crunchy ass people out the West Coast. They might think you're your best friend. They hate you all forever.
Crunchy ass people, dude. If you called somebody in LA a crunchy ass person, they would crash. They would crash their Prius, dude.
We do. So we're pretty close to Colorado, so we deal with a lot of people from LA because everybody done moved from LA to Colorado here.
Yeah,
a few years ago. So we definitely and now everybody's moving to Austin. So like a lot of those, a lot of West Coast people are coming down and realizing it's pretty not too bad around here, but you got to deal with the winters.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. But I mean, it's about time people toughened up somehow. And I would say that the pandemic just kind of drove everybody, to places that they really wanted to live. And it proved that our careers can be done more remotely. So I think that's kind of nice. I mean, the metropolitans aren't so saturated,
Yeah, well, it did kind of spread everybody out a little bit and realize that you can of course, with how the internet works and how cool it is, we can even be having a live conversation with you right now. Like it makes all that remote shit makes stuff a lot easier to get shit handled without you having to be right on top of everybody all the time. So, but I mean, I still like seeing people. And as far as seeing people, let's give you a little bit of an introduction. You're a comedian that kind of found some popularity as a stuttering comedian on America's Got Talent,
which you finished second on that season, didn't you?
And I didn't realize that was 2015. So that's been a little bit. It's been a little ways ago since you've kind of come a long way since then.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that was 9 years ago, and it wasn't something that. So I never really like dubbed myself the stuttering comedian, but I did comedy and I had a
if it wasn't for that,
sometimes I still do so.
If it wasn't for that, actually America's Got Talent, then I listened to your special here just recently. I wouldn't even hardly known. I mean, as you kind of go into the fact that you do some speech therapy and also other therapy. You had a great joke there with that tie between both of those, by the way. But to me, it seems like you've really kind of mastered that after dealing with getting jacked in the throat by a softball and having to deal with stuttering. Most people don't even know that. It was kind of a fluke accident. You didn't stutter for the first 20 years of your life, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I went, and it wasn't even something that I wanted to, like, stand up wasn't even on the checklist for a pursuit, you know? Like, that was kind of an alternative to what had to happen, just because, I did have that freak accident, and when I was in 2011, so I was 20 years old when that happened, and it was a vocal contusion and a TBI, from a soft freak softball accident, and I, I got dropped by a lot of my reps out here on the acting front, which is why I moved out here in the first place. So I had a full head of steam going into my year, in terms of, even that week, I was on hold for some projects with CBS and Disney, and when that happened and I was in the hospital, I had my roommate fielded a bunch of calls from, like, angry, like, agents and my manager, and just people just being like, what's going on? Why are you missing these appointments? Not being able to explain that I won't be able to make those appointments, and that in the undetermined future, we don't really know what this is. And so when I couldn't get hired anywhere to do any sort of level of acting, I started to go on stage and just talk about, you know, what had happened, try to be self-aware and self-deprecating about it, just kind of like
Did that start you
run
writing?
run towards the fire. You say what?
Did that kind of start you writing? Or because it sounds like you were kind of working in show business before. Did the fact that you were having trouble portraying yourself kind of help you start writing more? Is that how that went? Or
Yeah, I mean, the nature of like, I didn't know how to write a joke prior to even to my entry, really. Like, I didn't understand stand up, and it wasn't ever something I wanted to do. I mean, I always admired it. I always loved stand up comedy, but um I think that the injury itself was something that kind of inherently taught me joke structure, because jokes are all about getting to the funniest thing the quickest, and having, I mean, a
A
joke
lot
is
of
like
timing.
something that has a, yeah, it's that, but it's also just the misdirection of how the whole sentence can change based on the last word or two. And so when I first started writing, I had to really figure out what words were necessary, to get from A to B, and in the shortest amount of possible, using the fewest words. And so it was just kind of bred into the fact that the stutter was gonna teach me to do that, just out of necessity.
well, yeah, definitely you were using that as to write jokes early on. And what I've seen as you have just watching over the last, when I heard we were going to actually get to talk to you, I went and looked at a bunch of your stuff, and you don't even lean on that crutch anymore. It seems like your writing has got so good, and I'm willing, giving you a compliment here. Your special was great.
So
I mean,
so
really well written, really well put together, great concepts, great bits, like a lot of great turnarounds. Like you do comedy like I get. You get them leaning right to the end, then you slap them back the other way, and I love
Mm.
that kind of joke writing.
I watch your social media a lot where you're walking and like you know what I mean? Like the good morning bit like always cracks me up. You know what I mean? It's like you're walking like your AirPods on. Like I just imagine you just you know doing your thing. Going through this rant and and
Yeah.
I love it. It's like you don't skip a beat. I haven't heard the stutter for a really long time, honestly, and
Yeah, I mean, and that's why
especially on your social media, I haven't heard it.
I think we need to
And
drop that part of
and
the mnemonic from his
and
title. It's just he's just a
I
damn
love I love
comedian,
the social
fucking
media
funny one.
because I love the social media on there because it's like you're going through routines and getting them perfect, and it just reminds me so much of like Carlin, to where it's like this
Mhm.
well writ out, poetic almost bit,
Monologue.
yeah, this little segment, this little monologue that is just
I mean,
perfectly
Carlin was the
written,
best
perfectly
monologuist
executed.
ever,
Yeah, I love it.
for sure.
Well, Nat, that's really nice. I appreciate that, but yeah, it just a lot of people don't really know the work that I try to put into, just like, you had mentioned, I think, Aaron, I think you had mentioned that it was that it was like a crutch or whatever, and I definitely wanted it to be seen as a crutch. And so, plus all the like aside from all of the physical kind of ailments that came with it, and just my quality of life was just so frail. Like I couldn't do a lot of things because of how much pain I was in all the time, and so I had to go to PT and speech therapy and a neurologist and chiropractic. Like I had to do the whole thing. So um and then one of the biggest criticisms that I got just from, from audience or comics or anything of the like was that it could potentially be a crutch. And so I just slowly kind of like did this formula of like, all right, I'll do a joke for them, which is where maybe I address something about my speech or something stutter related, that is from a personal experience, but then get into like the other stuff that I really want to be talking about, which is, like whatever is pertinent to something that is completely independent of that, because I just don't want it to be seen as a crutch.
Yeah, and I think it could be an inspiration. And now 9 years later, man, like
Yeah,
nobody hears the stutter, so it obviously wasn't a crutch.
Well, yeah,
You know what I
honestly,
mean?
it sounds like it was a way
an
to
inspiration
for you as a person that sees the right side of stuff to go, okay, you think I'm gonna make this a crutch? I'm gonna make this. I don't need that. I'll write my way into this, and it probably made you work harder as a writer. It sounds like to me is what I'm kind of hearing.
Yeah, 100%. And I think like some of my favorite comics are writers. Like there's a lot of great comedians that I think are performers first and then they're writers. And then sometimes it's inverted where you get a lot of writer heavy people. Like you'll get like a Carlin or a Louis, or you get people who, they just, even like a Nate Bargatze, like these guys, they write, and not that they're not great performers, but I just think they inherently started with the skeleton of their writing foundation. And so in that way, like I said, I'd performed growing up pretty much my whole life. So just getting that under my belt has been a fun challenge.
So it seems like you got some acting stuff coming up, like the stuff that you've done. Some guest spots on Marin. Seems like acting's picking up a little bit. So you able to get back into that world a little bit more? Is that the plan?
Yeah, that's definitely, there's certain things that I can't directly mention, but there's things that, yeah, that's definitely in the trajectory for what we're hoping for with the near future next steps.
So kind of acting was the first love, and you kind of had to recreate yourself as a comedian. So that helped having all that stage time. So at least you weren't nervous to get up in front of people. That helped a ton. So
yeah, in fact, like when I'm in front of people, I don't really feel nervous at all on a stage. Like I just don't get, it's sometimes it's one-on-one conversations, and luckily there's two of you, so this is good. But usually it's one-on-one conversations where I sometimes get really I'll get self-conscious, or someone will, usually if I get through a whole sentence or a whole conversation without one little blip or one little stutter or one little block, someone will mention it, and then it's like, oh man, it all comes back. But that's just the nature of the issue.
Anybody who hasn't heard his special, he writes an absolutely great fucking joke about that. Like people are calling out the fact that he's not stuttering now. Well, it's like, hey guys, I've been working on speech therapy. I've been doing these things, getting more comfortable on stage, which I'm sure that helps too. And he has a great enrich. He's like, well, now I don't know when to stutter. Dude, it's really a really well thought out fucking bit.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Pick a time and
yeah, pick a time. When am I supposed to do this?
when does it work for you? Let me know. I can do Sunday. What do you want? I'm free.
Man,
yeah.
That was a really well put together concept.
Have you been to Wichita before?
Yeah, that was about to be my next question. Perfect.
Yeah, I have been to Wichita. I had family. So I used to date a girl. So I used to date a girl who she had family, and so we were like, I guess not really my family, but we had dated for a really long time, and we had flown into Wichita, and then we drove to, is it called? Oh man, I'll have to think. It's a small town. It's not even a town.
That's
it's
the whole
technically
state,
a village,
bro.
Yeah, that's most of the state.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Wichita and Kansas City and Topeka and a bunch of tiny little small towns that you just say are by all of those towns.
How big is your belt buckle?
Yeah,
How
right.
many acres do you?
I mean,
acres
it's
do you
not a
own,
bad place. I like here in Kansas, and Wichita's not a bad place, and you really got a really cool spot to do your special.
The Orpheum's a beautiful.
The Orpheum's If you haven't been to the Orpheum, you're gonna love performing there. You'll like that place a lot. It's really cool. It's a great setup for comedians. It's got it's an old school theater vibe. My buddy right here just actually played a set with Kenny Wayne Shepherd there here just
opened
recently.
Up for Kenny Wayne up there.
So I mean, it's
cool like old like 20s,
nice.
30s theater.
Yeah, you'll like. It's a really cool theater. Rad. You'll definitely have a good set there.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Kenny Wayne Shepherd was there.
Yeah. It's just a real good real good blues artist, guitar player, songwriter.
Nice.
So here's the big question: are you traveling on new material? We got some new material we're trying out. What do we expect to see?
Yeah, right now it's all new material right now. Usually how it works is I'm workshopping quite a bit during the fall and the winter months, and then that way at the top of the year I kind of start the whole process of putting everything together in terms of the new hour. And we talk about a lot of these guys like Carlin and Louis, like these guys, they can turn out an hour a year,
that's
quality
hour
a year.
Impressive shit there. So if you
get one every thing to do for sure.
If you can get one every 2 years, I feel like you're kicking ass. I mean, but I know a lot of them are trying to do that every year.
Exactly. And I think like I don't marry myself to that standard because I think there's a lot of I think comedy, because there's so much of it, the quality of it has gone down quite a bit. And it feels like, I think that is incentivized by like the algorithm and the internet and how everything is just fast paced, and it's just now, in earlier comedy booms, like 2 generations before the internet, you really worked on an hour, worked on an act, and you could spend, a year and a half, 2 years to try and really iron everything out and get it so sharp. But now, because the demand is higher with everything, and people are just, they're clamoring for just what's the next new thing. Like, I just saw him, so what's going to be new? So in another way, it's really kind of raised the standard for the demand of what it is that you do for when you come to a new town. And I mean, I think that's the big difference between like musicians and comedians. You guys tell me what you think about this, but
I think a lot on this one.
I do too,
yeah, I mean, I think when you go to a concert to see a musician, I think you want to hear lots of the hits and then some of the new stuff. I think it's completely inverted for comics. Like
completely different standard
new stuff and then some. Yeah. So it's a different grind.
I also think that it's hard for comedians now, because you work really hard to create this joke and craft it. And in your case, you really write it out really well. I mean, you know exactly what you're going to say and how this bit is going to go. And then you go do it. Somebody catches it on a fucking cell phone, puts it out there, and now I can't use that on my tour.
Well, the thing is, you can use it, but now everybody saw it as a fucking TikTok before you got there, and now you're now a bit that you might not even have ready for your special that you're still grinding out is out there. Whether it's fully done or not, it's such a weird concept. You have like he's saying, you could have used to fly into Wichita, and if you had a set, some comedians could be playing the same set for 3-4 years, and unless you heard them, you didn't know. Yeah. But now I done seen your whole set on YouTube, Spotify. It's on everything. So and even some of the shit that you were working on,
it's a hard role.
Yeah, it definitely is. That's why I respect
and everything.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's always with the delay on this.
I was just going to
Zoom
say,
calls.
Yeah. I was just going to say, and things can be taken out of context too. If something's half baked or something's not quite done and you want to try something, which I think as an artist, you're entitled to do. I mean, if anything, like if I go see somebody, when I saw Jim Jeffries working on some of his stuff when he came back to start doing comedy again, it was some of my favorite like even when I saw his more like it polished for the special, I was like, I really actually appreciated when he was just trying some stuff and it wasn't as tight. Like I liked the idea of it being looser to just see that like I could watch his brain work to maybe go this way or maybe try something else like this out. And let's say there's always the risk that it's not going to go good, especially if you're going to take a bit in a new direction or take a swing in a different avenue, and someone gets that on their phone and then shares it, and you're like, all right, well, that wasn't ready, or maybe that was the first time I did it, and it's so it's like you're one potential attempt away from like canceling yourself, and you're just like, geez, man. I mean, it's an art.
Well, and most people don't realize that you can say Aaron or someone writes a new song, we get to hammer that song out in practice forever and ever. Well, with comedians, you got to go up on the stage and see what happens and see how the crowd takes it, see how the bit unfolds, and see how your writing
and there's going to be
diverses.
different crowds every.
And there's no other way to practice stand-up comedian. You got to just go up there, like you got to just go do it. So that's why you get yourself in some hot spots when you're, because I remember when Louis C.K. was coming back, he was traveling around doing small sets, finally trying to get back in the comedy clubs, and you could tell he was working on material, doing like 30-minute bits or 30-minute sets and going in and out real fast, and people was killing him and putting his shit out everywhere. And to me, he sees what I saw because we write. And you could see that those were going to be great bits. That's him working on that stuff. And some of that building process is fun to watch as a writer for me when they're doing some of those. Because I used to try to watch and catch anything that the Comedy Store would do in the belly room. Because most of that belly room stuff was always people working on shit. So it was always pretty cool. Is there any of those places that you work your chops at there around the West Coast, or?
Yeah, I go up at the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory and the Improv. Those are pretty much the three there in Hollywood, and they all do like a great job about nurturing stage time for comics. And like I mentioned, we're in kind of a comedy boom right now, where I think because comedians are so accessible, so many people are just like excited. Like people are just clamoring to what I want to find this person and figure out where they are next, see how they work, get their style. I love their POV, get everything. They want to just consume it. And
well, yeah, they like you more as a person now instead of just for your craft. It's more of a whole brand sell instead of just you as a comedian.
That's kind of what the internet did, though.
Yeah,
it exposed other sides of yourself,
Well, some people are really good comedians and they're really interesting people, maybe a little bit more than they are comedians, and that helps a ton too because you get to know them a little bit better now too, and you see some of them are really funny.
Yeah. And so, I've done shows where like I mean, even to do those clubs in Los Angeles, like it's such a freaking grind to just get up there, to just get up. Like I've had to work really, really hard over the years to get to where it's like, okay,
they'll actually let you play.
You can be comfortable in pretty much every environment. I mean, and I set some goals for myself pretty early on in my career, quantitative goals for myself, so that way I could have them be physically just measured, empirical evidence that I would have to be getting better because I just have to hit these goals that are based on numbers. So, like 2 years after my injury, I wanted to just do as many different places as possible. So I would drive out to like different places in like, California and like Prim, Las Vegas, and do shows in like Oregon, and of course. I performed in 101 different stages, and then the next year I set a goal to just do 500 sets. So it could be at some of the same places, but I just wanted it to be go up as many times as possible. And in that year, like I ended up doing shows like at laundromats, Korean barbecues. I did a library. I did a chemo unit. I did like a book club. I did some ladies.
Do any old folks homes?
Yeah, dude. I'm sure I did. But
that's putting in the grind while you're putting together a set and putting together bits. I mean, you got to do that shit.
Well, when you're at that stage, you're just kind of, getting comfortable in every single environment. That way, if you go up and do like a theater in Wichita, you're prepared for pretty much whatever. And so you just get this this seasoning. You get like this thickness to you. So it's just I'm thankful for it, but genuinely, it's like it's some of the hardest things it's one of the hardest things you have to do is just like break yourself down every night and then start all over again. It's crazy.
So, as you're coming to Wichita, are you bringing anybody with you? Do you have a opener, or what do you have a
Yeah.
traveler with you?
Yeah, so I have a tour manager and an opener, but I change up a lot of the people that I work with to open the shows just because I try to give as many of my friends opportunities as possible, people who've
Oh, yeah.
like been with me for so long, and you meet new people along the way. So but yeah, I this in Wichita, I think I have my buddy Justin Foster opening. He's from Dallas, and every time we end up doing the Midwest together, like people freaking love him. So I mean, he's hilarious. So
It's smart to kind of pick a comedian from the area, kind of to help you with the opening. That's like a Midwesterner. That makes sense for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and they don't have to travel as far too. So that's a smart idea. I always like to see who people bring with them for sure. So what are we talking? Is
Yeah.
that March 16th?
March 6th.
March 6th?
March 6th, isn't it?
Isn't that a Wednesday?
Mhm.
I think.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Yeah.
So everybody that's looking to get to that show, make sure you get on March 6th, Wednesday at the Orpheum. So where's a lot of the stuff where people can keep up with what you got going on? Is there what's the best social media platform that
You're on the Small King tour right now. How do we buy tickets wherever we're at?
Yeah, give us all the deets so we can make
Yeah,
sure
sure,
we can get we got to get these Wichita people buying some tickets. You got to get up in their ass a little bit because Wichita's world renowned for waiting for
the last minute
to buy
pre-sale's
tickets.
not a thing here.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
Man,
Hilarious.
it's a Wichita theme. It'd be the biggest the most famous person even Wichita wants to go. Like Jelly Roll's finna come. You know that's gonna do good in this area.
Yeah.
Them tickets will sell like a week before. Like that's how Wichita works.
Hilarious.
It's so funny.
That's
so
wild.
funny.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Honestly, lack of information and infrastructure in the information part of the town. Like people either listen to that radio station or this one, and we've been working hard.
We started a podcast for that reason.
We literally started this
niche.
podcast 2 years ago for that reason. Even on your social media feed, you know how it works with social media. Sometimes, like you'll get come see Drew Lynch at the Orpheum Theater. That was 2 days ago. You're like, what the fuck?
I didn't even have time.
Why am I getting some shit that live that happened on Wednesday and it's fucking Friday now? Yeah. So I mean, that was a big part of why we started doing this. So
good on you guys having a podcast so you can just retain your audience and have it be more personal and more regulated. You can monitor it. It's smart.
Yeah, and then this is another reason, because we wanted to get to this spot, and thank you for being the first one. I mean,
yeah, you're our first one. We didn't tell you that.
Yeah, you are groundhog on. So we've done about 150 podcasts plus. We've actually kind of invented a thing where we go out to festivals and do podcasts, but we've stayed pretty local as far as our interview base, because
trying to build Wichita.
Well, every show that we do is an interview. Every single one that we do is an interview. But now we're starting to get the people that are coming into town, so we wanted to get this live Zoom StreamYard thing going, and you're our first one. We've been working on it for a few days, and me and Aaron figured it out, and we really appreciate you being our guinea pig for this. So
it was really funny. Actually, I reached out, and his manager's like, I was telling him, I'm like, yeah, dude. So I got an office at the Orpheum. You can just come upstairs and do the podcast. It'll be great. It'll be fine. And he's like, yeah, but we're not going to sell any tickets off that. I'd rather have a week of releasing this.
Yeah.
So that we can sell some
tickets. Yes, and this podcast will be on.
That'd be amazing.
It's airing live on our Facebook page and airing live on the YouTube channel, but it'll be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and everything by tomorrow or so. Yeah. So it's pretty.
What's up with the? I love that for you guys. What's up with the? Have you guys ever been to Mort's? Is it like a cigar lounge thing?
Yeah. It's not a bad little spot.
I'll call a lady.
Yeah. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Me and Aaron are highly in tuned into the music industry and the bar and restaurant industry in this town. And with as many podcasts as we do, and as long as we've been fucking around this town, we know pretty much every venue and every owner and every single one of them.
Mort's is cool. It's a cigar martini bar.
And / live venue. They play. You played there. I've seen you play. I've seen him play there multiple times. It's a little bit of a cool martini cigar bar. It's in our downtown bar district, Old Town area. We have a
you've played,
downtown
Old Town there before, Austin?
Aaron has. Yeah, I
Oh,
have.
Aaron has.
I'm
Oh, Aaron,
Aaron.
you
This
played
is
there
He-
before?
Austin, by the
Oh,
way.
gotcha,
He's the
gotcha.
musician.
No, no
He's
worries.
the musician. I'm just the big dumb talking guy. He's the musician.
Yeah,
That's
they
so
have music
cool.
there a lot. If you're
Yeah, that's cool.
well, if you're here on a Wednesday, I don't know if you're gonna catch it.
Yeah.
Not music at Mort's, but if you want to hit
Maybe
up,
probably
if you
get
get a
there,
chance,
get a stick.
I don't know what you
Yeah.
do while you're in town, but we're always around, especially on Wednesdays.
yeah.
Hit us up.
Also, Old Town
Hit us up. We'll come
Cigars
get a
is
drink.
really
We ain't
close,
scared.
actually, to
We'll
Morton.
show you around town because you'll probably get in town early Wednesday and don't have shit to do until you're set. So
Yeah, I might do that. I might swing by there, grab a
I know there's
for the show. Looks like
there's
it's
a
open
couple.
late anyway.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of good. I don't know where you're staying when you're here, but there's a lot of good food right around downtown too. So
As for Emma, she'll take care of you.
oh yeah, over there at
Hell yeah.
over at Mort's. Yeah,
Write it down, Emma.
Oh, hell yeah.
Emma, we'll take care of you at Mort's for sure.
I remember that.
For sure.
Say Aaron sent you over there, man.
Hell yeah.
For sure.
So anything else you want to kick
Hell
out
yeah.
before we anything
No,
else
dude,
before
I
I know
appreciate it. I
don't wanna
appreciate it.
keep you too long, man.
No, you're good, dude. I appreciate it. I'm glad happy to have been the first guest. Yeah, I'm on the Short King tour right now, but it's it's at the Drew Lynch on all social media or whatever, and tickets are on my website. You can just just Google my name or whatever. It's super easy, but I'm just genuinely thankful for the time and glad that I got to kick it with some cool fellas.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean,
Appreciate it,
and
man.
like anytime that you're ever running around this place again, you want to jump on a fucking live podcast and talk some shit before you come in. We're not
Yep. And
scared.
if you're going to Mort's, man, I'll buy you a drink.
Yeah, if we catch you there, Mort's, and if you get squirrely and you ever get here where you're doing like a couple of days, because I can already tell that from what I'm watching, I can see that you write well enough that you can be doing this for a while. So when you circle back around, and if you're here for like a Friday and a Saturday, a couple of sets, hit us up and we'll get dinner, or maybe you can come up to the studio and we'll fuck around and do another live podcast. Who knows,
I'll probably be at the show, man.
Love
I'll probably
it.
see you there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we
yeah,
almost
dude.
have to go now.
My husband's a huge fan, so I gotta take him out there.
And right here in the comments,
Hell
if
yeah.
anybody's looking, Adam Hall posted right here in the comments that you can get to WichitaOrpheum.com events. Drew Lynch is there, or DrewLynch.com. I would say go to DrewLynch.com first. Go buy your tickets through there. Always go through the artist first. The venue's always gonna get their money.
And I'm gonna say this, Orpheum, give us a promo code.
Yeah, we
Give
should.
us a promo code.
For sure. So make sure that you get down to the Orpheum on March 6th and check out Drew Lynch, because absolutely great comedian. I'm gonna come with you guys because I want to hear what his new stuff sounds like. I love hearing the new stuff. So all right, brother, thank you very much for doing this. We appreciate you. And here's the let's hit the let you get the theme song one more time on the way out.
Oh
right,
yeah,
appreciate
come
you.
on now.
Big special thanks to Drew Lynch for coming on, man. We appreciate you. Can't wait to have you in the town.
Thanks, guys. Hell yeah.
We can talk to him about that.
Yeah, we really appreciate you coming in, man. I'm going to end the stream. We can talk for a sec,
yeah.
though. See you in a sec.
Yeah.
Ba, 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 ba.